Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of y'all, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. I'm going to address the Pinay women in this one directly. You've been getting aggression from a few African American women, and I'm going to let you know early on that other Western black women that are not even American are going to join in on this, come against you. Shouts out to Filipina P for your clapback, Rue Beauty for yours, Helga Babushka for yours, and Gian J3, I think that's the name, for your clapbacks. And yours will by far the most virulent, and I'm sure you're saving some aggression for later, for escalation, which is smart. I'm going to say this to you not to justify what the black woman's doing, only to explain it. I'm against any nationality of any woman of any race jumping on you because you treat men well and you finally have options because of it. I'm just explaining it to you. This way you can be even more informed in your clapbacks in the future. Make no mistake about this. I am not siding with you against them because of your features per se. I'm siding with you against them because, simply put, you didn't do anything wrong and they're fighting against you as though you did. And white women are going to do the same thing. They generally have the same attitudes. They're just more stealthily trying to promote feminism in your part of the world to drive you away from your man. So they're each really trying to do the same thing with just two different approaches. And I want y'all to keep that in mind. You have to think of the West as a plantation prison first. If you think of the West as a plantation prison, then you have to understand that you've got your administrators. They wear suits. They make decisions. A lot of their jobs aren't even at the site of any prison itself. Then you have the low-level or assistant administrators in the prison and the high-level corrections officers. And they, what they do is run the prisons themselves, specifically. Hands-on, but not always right up in the faces of the inmates. And then you've got the low-level corrections officers, and they have to control the inmate population directly, with direct contact. Then you've got the inmate population. You have to understand, in America, which races and genders are which. We black men are the inmates. The white men make up the high-level administrators. The white women make up the assistant administrators and the higher-level corrections officers and guards. The black women make up the lower-level corrections officers. And many of them are actually inmates and don't know it because they're so busy being guards. They don't realize that as guards, they're actually trustees that are used as guards. They don't see it this way. They don't understand that. So they're 200% against us because we're the inmates. And they're over us. So because they're over us, they want to hold on to that position. The administrators have recently decided that the prison plantation is profitable enough to where they can do with fewer inmates. Plus, they have a lot of inmates that don't even realize that it's a prison. So to keep up that illusion, they will allow release papers in the forms of passports. The guards, low-level guards that are right up there with and in the faces of the inmates, controlling the inmate population, realize that some of us are getting walking papers. They're thinking, well, if this spreads and all of them get walking papers from our administrators, our superiors, well, then what's going to happen? What's going to happen is we're not going to have anybody beneath us. Then we'll be the inmates. And in a sense, you have to understand what sisters are really saying when they at the FBI and tell them to watch out for passport bros, and they're going to come after SYSBM and IBMOR next, all the other BMPTs. What they're really saying is, Massa yous can't let these niggas walks free. And the reason I'm saying it in that kind of vernacular is not because I view black women that way. It's because that's how they view themselves in relation to the white man. They are very active participants in white supremacy, knowingly and unknowingly. That's why I'm saying this. You, the Pinay woman, represent where we go when we get those walking papers, those release papers in the forms of passports. That is what you're seeing. That is what you are hearing. That is what is going on. They're clapping at you as well because you are our destination. You represent it. You're not the only destination, but you're one of the ones about whom we know because we have the easiest time speaking with you because your English is quite good. And it enables you to even more easily teach us how to speak Tagalog if we choose to learn it, or another language like Visayas or Waraya, for that matter. And frankly, you are very similar to us. And sometimes you eat enough of the right foods, you even get a body like a sister. The black woman feels insecure because though she's got a body similar to yours, maybe with even a little bit more booty than you, she still has wide nose, big lips, 4C hair, and darker skin. She thinks these things make her ugly. They don't. You don't think so in many cases either, despite your problem of colorism, and that is a legitimate gripe that the Western black woman has against any culture, really. That is colorism. Y'all have it too. That's the one thing about which they're correct. But I wanted you to understand that what you are facing is not really that. It's not only about that. They'll bring up this legitimate point because what they want to do is to drive us away from you. I know because it worked on me years ago before the internet was anything like what it is now, back when it was in its early infancy. I read that the Philippines had a problem with colorism back in late 90s, early 2000s, and I thought that Filipinos were enemies of black people too. And later on I came to realize they were not, but that they were victims of brainwashing. And then later on, after being a Muslim and coming to Saudi and meeting more people from the Philippines, I began to realize, no, actually, they're in many ways that they prefer us over the colonizer. She's going after you because, frankly, you are competition with whom she cannot compete and is not willing to do what it takes to compete. She was trained to not compete with you. She was trained to do the exact opposite so that when you come along, you win. And that's all that's going on here. Keep clapping back. As for those who are not clapping against you, I'm sure you're not going against them anyway because you've been very sweet and very nice for a very long time. And you don't have a track record as a whole collectively of just going after black women and clapping against them. So you were really one of those who least deserved to be clapped against. I do think you all need to fix the colorism problem, much like the rest of the world does. And you probably will. More of us are going to come to you with open arms. I say this with no bias towards you or against you because I'm married to a black woman from the Horn of Africa. And I'm an African-American Creole man from the Gulf Coast. But I am biased in favor of your nation as a whole because, frankly, you all, for the most part, generally have been very nice, very kind to us. And this is why it is that I am biased in favor of your nation. You've generally been a very nice and sweet people across the board. Everybody knows this. And in the minute somebody tries to colonize you all give them the major behind kicking of the century. You've done it more than once. You taught Vasco da Gama a lesson. The Spaniards couldn't learn from the Portuguese very well, so the Spaniards came in. You all taught them a lesson eventually after they separated you all from Islam, unfortunately. Then the Americans came. You taught them lessons too. The Japanese, you taught them lessons. You have a history of teaching oppressors the lessons they need to know and meeting friends as friends. God bless you for it. Thank you all for listening. As always, black heart, black mind, black out, assalamu alaikum, and black. Heterosexual, non-select, male power just because they don't like it in black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day. Thank you for flying with me on Jet Black Airways, where jet black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with me until the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender justice forever.